Look at me, I'm evolving. I'm gonna evolve. Watch. I'm evolving. Look at me evolving. Yeah, flying through time and space. Yeah.
Can I ask of the cameraman that I also have some say in what gets posted?
We have Liberationist President 222 in the car with us. Hood hippies. We're on our way to the nearest Wendy's to tell some story, to restory the multiverse.
We're on our way right now to the Wendy's because, we're going to a vehicle of extractive white supremacist heteropatriarchal capitalism, right? Wendy's, which has been exploiting its workers. How do I care enough to be intentional with my words, but not care so much that I don't hide from the world and express my truth? That's the fine line I'm walking right now. And I think it's really just being more comfortable and allowing my truth to be good enough for myself, there's a way in which you can hide from that much gaze of people who you don't know. It feels hard to share sometimes in a vulnerable fashion on camera because maybe there's people who I don't even know who are watching it, and without any kind of consideration of the human rights.
Tell him, President.
Of the dignity of those workers. You know what I'm saying? And Wendy's was the one fast food giant chain.
Tell him, President.
In the food justice, food sovereignty struggle, and economic and racial justice struggle of the coalition of Imokalee workers in Florida.
I'm a fucking Florida orange, and I know that the president should be using their power to talk about this shit. Tell him, President. Tell him, Mr. President. Tell him.
The real orange president. Tell him. That's the real orange president right there.
Black and brown folks working, in the continuation of slavery.
Tell him, President.
In the United States and Florida. How do I care enough to be intentional with my words, but not care so much that I don't hide from the world? Enough to be intentional with my words. Right, working for the lowest, and in their campaign, they got every other fast food giant to increase the price of the tomatoes that they were selling by a penny per pound, so that those workers could achieve more dignity and a little bit more wealth.
Tell them, President. Them top elite motherfuckers.
Oh, they fucking
didn't take no pay cut.
That's right. That's fucking right. Yeah, they gave themselves raises. So
everybody signed but Wendy's?
Everybody signed but Wendy's. We're talking McDonald's, Burger King, all them motherfuckers. They all signed but Wendy's. So it's a trip that, the symbol of just corporate greed, of accumulating wealth on the backs of people who are working in legalized enslavement for the system is the same fast food restaurant where our brother was murdered last night.
And this is ritual right now.
We're
not just responding with random rage. Even if that's what we think we're doing, we are being guided right now. This is a spiritual experience right now.
In a way, I feel like the spirits of George Floyd, of Breonna Taylor, of Ahmaud Arbery, we're honoring them with this ceremonial fire.
This ain't just a good law-abiding business.
This
that
is
got
burning
to the
of
ground because it was the happenstance of the parking lot of where another black man was murdered.
By
this
is
a bastion
leaders
exactly
like
what
Isoro
needs to be
in Brazil
burned
of the
down
Quilombos.
For
this
the killing of black
burning
men, black women, black families, brown families, white families, everybody.
Black Lives Matter,
talking
and
about everybody.
Burning down this Wendy's is part of that. Because when we take down the symbols of capitalism, like the statues that have been taken down of Confederate leaders, like the flags that have been removed from southern state capitals, that is a precursor to what needs to happen. Reparations. Yes, we need to defund the police. Yes, we need to remove police from schools. Shout out to the Black Organizing Project and the movement to follow the demands and principles of the movement for Black Lives to remove all police from schools. They don't belong in schools. Kids don't belong in prison. How is it that that prisons look at the third grade reading scores of schools in California
Tell them that shit.
as a way to determine how many new prisons they're going to build? They're looking at third grade reading scores rather than thinking about these children's education and flourishment, critical thinking, about how they can contribute to be part of building a beautiful society that we actually want to live in and leave to our children, that is equitable and just. They're looking at those children's reading scores and thinking about how many prisons they're going to build. That is the prison industrial complex that is connected to the police state, the carceral state, the fascist state that this current occupant of the White House is living in. And that's why, as presidents, as council, we need to remember that we don't need any more presidents. We don't need a rapist president in office, whether it's Biden or Trump. What we really need is all of us assuming leadership, right? And taking power back, defunding the police. So that's what I'll share for now. Thank y'all. Much love. Rest in power. Rest in peace.
Hashtag
OPD out of OUSD.
And then what? OPD out of OUSD. Defund the police out of schools. Then what are we funding with that defunding money?
We're funding healthcare, housing, healing, education, green jobs. We need to reinvest in a just transition, a regenerative local economy, and a feminist economy for life. Look up Grassroots Global Justice Alliance recent guidebook to a feminist economy for life and a just transition within a Green New Deal. We need to do this together, y'all. There's hundreds of millions of dollars that they're spending to brutalize and kill Black and brown people in Oakland. As Dr. King said, a budget is a moral document. So let's do what is right.
Say it again.
Let's do what is right. The budget is a moral document.
Ooh.
And if we look at the budget of the city of Oakland, what kind of morals are we seeing?
Ooh.
If between 25 and 40% of the entire budget is dedicated to the police, which has only killed disproportionate people of color, Black and brown people in Oakland, it's time to defund the police, y'all.
Yeah. Y'all seen Tommy? Yeah. I think they might be out here. Oh, yeah. Tommy. Yo, what's up, bro? It's something to be blessed with Liberationist President 222. I've been sitting out here since earlier today. I have never had an experience with police where I felt like they came to help me. Yet I know they are here to protect that property. And to really be in the conversation of defunding the police and hearing
Liberationist President 222 speak about what's possible, I had to sit.
I keep hearing that bomb sound that we played throughout the Hood Hippie Universe episode so far. Listen, we've as a world turned towards our interconnectedness and made agreements to limit our actions in the name of saving all of our lives. We've called out and demonstrated our capacity to respond to a crisis together. And we saying, me too. We saying, look at these other pandemics. Look at these other crises. Nah, now that we got your attention, now that you're listening, now that we're all in this together, now that we're all listening to each other and trying to save our lives together, let me tell you about some other things that need some immediate attention. It's a beautiful thing, really. I'm asking all of y'all up in there, around here. What you sitting with?
I always used to daydream about us as a resistance, as a people, coming together and targeting something, like Target, and just shutting it down, putting it out of business, just to show that we can. It makes sense to burn it down. And just shutting it down, putting it out of business, just to show that we can. It makes sense to burn it down. They are killing us. And they don't have to. Yeah, it makes sense to burn the shit down. You know, there are alternatives. There are so many other possibilities.
Your spot's looking pink as ever.
Breonna Taylor, Aura Rosaire. I understand what it feels like to be a person of color out here, you know, and I really understand what it feels like to be picked off the vine of my tree of life. You feel? I understand what that's like. Yeah. Bayshard Brooks shot twice in the back. They talked for like 30 minutes. Talked to him for 30 minutes. He put hands on him, though. He put hands on him, and he was running slow. He wasn't going nowhere. I mean, he was running real slow. And they shot him. It was like they were scared he was going to disappear into the invisible Black Lantern. You know, they burned that Wendy's. It was just there. It could have been Starbucks. It could have been Target. It could have been a police station. And it was Wendy's. So, you know, shit. I understand that too. They serve orange juice up in that motherfucker. You dig? Pick us off the vine like that. Black Lives Matter.